Palestinian people will not forget their land. The Palestinian people will not relinquish their right, and they will not cease their struggle for freedom. Occupation will never be accepted. Abnormal situations can never be normalized. Therefore, the international community must address the root cause of the suffering, I mean, the illegal occupation. Mr. President, at the outset, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Special Coordinator, Mrs. Sigrid Kaag, for her sober and insightful briefing. We also listened attentively to the representatives of civil society. The situation in the occupied Palestinian territories remains a source of grave concern, despite the reduction of violence observed in Gaza, following the ceasefire agreement in January. Yet, the situation continues to be volatile, with ongoing oppression and escalating tensions in the West Bank. Without hope for a political horizon or a durable solution, the suffering of the Palestinian people may persist indefinitely. In this context, I would like to highlight the following key points. First, the ceasefire agreement must be fully implemented. This agreement provided a crucial window for the delivery of humanitarian aid. It allowed the people of Gaza to experience a temporary reprieve from unthinkable hardship. Algeria calls on all parties to uphold their commitments under the ceasefire agreement and adhere to their obligations under international humanitarian law. The ceasefire must be maintained in line with Resolution 2735, which emphasizes that the ceasefire will continue as long as negotiations are ongoing, and that the mediators will work to ensure these negotiations continue until all agreements are reached. For us, the return to hostilities is unacceptable. For us, the ceasefire must also be extended to the West Bank. Second, the destruction in Gaza is catastrophic, and the suffering of Palestinians continue even in the relative calm of recent weeks. The scale of needs is immense, and it requires a coordinated international response. A comprehensive plan for reconstruction is indispensable to ensure that Gaza recovers, to ensure that the Palestinian people remain on their ancestral land. In this regard, the role of United Nations agency, especially UNRWA, is essential in providing the necessary support and resources for this monumental task. Third, having implemented its scorched earth policy in Gaza, the Israeli occupying power is now turning its focus to the West Bank, where the level of destruction, where the level of settler violence is alarmingly high, particularly in Tulkarem, in Jenin, and in Tobaz. This is coupled with aggressive settlement expansion and the daily demolition of Palestinian homes. It is clear that Israeli politicians are actively inciting violence in the West Bank to serve internal political agendas. Israeli finance minister declared that our goal for 2025 is to demolish more than what Palestinians are building in the West Bank. This is a direct assault on the prospect of peace and stability, on the prospect of the two-state solution. Fourth, the weakening of the Palestinian Authority is a dangerous path that threatens the very existence of the Palestinian national prospect, of the Palestinian national project. It is a deliberate strategy by the Israeli occupying power, which dreams of a land free of Palestinians, from the river to the sea. In this context, Algeria condemns the Israeli recent decision to seize $90 million of Palestinian tax revenues. This move further undermines the ability of the Palestinian Authority to govern and to fulfill its responsibilities. Algeria firmly believes that the Palestinian Authority must be empowered to carry out its duty across all occupied territories. Only by strengthening Palestinian legitimate governance can we pave the way for sustainable peace. Mr. President, for Algeria, there are no double standards. Every innocent life must be protected. This principle lies at the heart of international humanitarian law, which safeguards civilians, particularly women and children, during armed conflict. We believe in justice that knows no boundaries. No one is above the law, and no one should be granted impunity. It is imperative to establish an international commission to investigate all allegations related to the situation in the occupied Palestinian territories. Every innocent life lost must be thoroughly and independently investigated, and those responsible, whoever they are, must be held accountable. Nearly 18,000 children have been killed in Gaza. Do they deserve independent investigation and accountability? More than 8,000 innocent women have been killed in Gaza. Do they deserve independent investigation and accountability? Over 1,000 health workers have been killed in Gaza while performing their duties. Do they deserve independent investigation and accountability? More than 200 journalists have been killed in Gaza. Do they deserve independent investigation and accountability? Accountability and justice are essential to prevent the repetition of such horrors. To those who believe that the ceasefire ended the suffering of the people in Gaza, I say, you are mistaken. Just yesterday, 5 newborn babies froze to death in a hospital in Gaza City. This is cruel. It is unacceptable. And it will remain forever a stain in the conscience of humanity. Mr. President, the Palestinian people will not forget their land. The Palestinian people will not relinquish their right, and they will not cease their struggle for freedom. Occupation will never be accepted. Abnormal situations can never be normalized. Therefore, the international community must address the root cause of the suffering, I mean, the illegal occupation. And the ceasefire agreement should serve as the foundation of a comprehensive and durable peace plan under international law. We have no more time to waste. The ruling of the ICG and the General Assembly resolution ES 1024 are clear. The Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories should be brought to an end. The international meeting to be held next June is an opportunity that we must seize for an irreversible path toward the establishment of a Palestinian state in the boundaries of June 1967. As President Abdelmajid Tebboune rightly stated, and I quote, It is our duty to unite our efforts, to reinforce our resolve, and to ensure that Palestinians attain their rightful reality promised to them by international law in full and without conditions. End of quote. This reality is the establishment of a sovereign Palestinian state with Al-Quds Sharif as its capital. I thank you, Mr. President.